The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv. Check out Amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. And for more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. The Angry Chicken is brought to you by our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You beast Jaraxxus! You smell like a leper gnome! I knew it! So hot!
A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken!
Time for brand new tack. Hi everyone, I'm Garrett Weinzerl, here as always with Jocelyn Carney. And not as always, but returning to the program is Slysssa, because, I mean, it's a massive Battlegrounds update. Of course we had to do it.
I always just show up. I'm like, barge in, let me through. I want to be here today.
There's Battlegrounds!
We don't always miss a week of the Angry Chicken, but when we do, we make sure it's during a massive patch. So.
Yeah, it's the first one we missed in a while, and just the universe did not want us to record last week.
No, we had like very serious family tragedy and vaccine illness, and it just wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen. You know us listeners. It is so rare we miss a week, let alone a week with a big patch, but we missed you. We're here, and we brought Slysssa.
She knows all the things.
I barged my way in. I was not invited.
Seriously, though. She's going to teach us how to do Quilboars, though, which is good, because I'm terrible.
They are good. You just play them and you win.
Yeah, I feel like I figured it out when it didn't really matter which Quilboars I got, and I was consistently making it into the top 4, if not top 3.
Just buy them. Don't not buy them. And you're doing well.
I find I keep, like, especially in the later turns, I run out of time, still have a bajillion gold, and yet somehow I've given everything on my board plus 20, plus 20.
Yeah, and I bet you still have blood gems in your hand.
Oh yeah, like I'm just like, I'm gonna burn so many. I don't even know what is this game?
Yeah.
Who has this kind of APM?
There's a way you can play where you don't burn additional blood gems. I wasn't aware of this. I thought it was required to burn blood gems to play Quilboar correctly, because that's how I've been doing it, and it's been working. So I haven't been too upset about it. But yeah, I have a feeling we'll get into a little more nuance than that. But
yes.
In the meantime, it's also should be worth mentioning, this can be a big old Battlegrounds special, everyone. So. You know, we've been doing the constructed thing for like a month here. We're going to take a break, head on over to Bob's Tavern, where he never gives us what we ask for. But we're going to be talking about Battlegrounds today. And Slysssa, it's been a while since you've been on, but it feels like you're doing everything. You have so much going on right now. You're doing...
Yeah, I do have a lot going on, but it's great. I love it.
You're doing China Gold Series. You are going to be in Battle of the Boars coming up.
Yes, lots of tournaments going on. Yeah, so for those who don't know, China Gold Series, it is a 15-week-long league where they invite the 9 top Chinese teams and 1 Western team being Team Liquid. That is my team. And it is both standard and Battlegrounds. So if you like standard, you like Battlegrounds, it's both. It starts off with 2 Battleground games and then ends with standard games. So really fun event. But it's early in the morning for me.
I was going to say, like, what time with the time change? Like, what time do you have to start?
Yeah, my games are at 7 a.m., which isn't that bad because that's 7 p.m.
Pretty
for them.
early.
It's pretty early for a gamer, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's 7 p.m. for them. So it's so nice of them to wait that long in the day to start.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because we're
enough.
always like the first of the days, the Battlegrounds. So it's like 7 a.m. It takes 1 hour because it's only two matches per day. And then because there's 10 teams and only 4 teams play per day. Let's math that. So I only compete once to twice per week, but yeah, I do have to wake up early.
Yeah, goodness, yeah, that's a lot. I don't mind getting up early, but I'm not good at like needing to like, I don't know, be on and like be a functioning human. If you need me to like be present, I can be there. But when people are like, oh yeah, I'm down for a podcast. Can you do 7 or 8 a.m.? I'm like, I'm not going to be personable.
Yeah,
camera has
complete
to be
at the top of your game at 7 a.m. No, thank you.
My camera has to be on too. So.
Oh,
It's
no.
not like I can like roll out of bed and just like start playing. I have to set my camera up 30 minutes prior and be with them and talking. And they have a translator for me because it's all in Chinese. And we are on the Chinese server. So there's a lot of lag issues. So like if I'm tired and I'm playing slow and I'm on with Quilboar.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, the first day of the tournament or the league was last Wednesday morning, and Quilboar came out Tuesday afternoon. So I had not figured out Quilboar yet, and I'm just sitting there like panicking with all my gems, wasting gold, burning cards. Oh, it was so embarrassing.
Is it streamed anywhere that we can watch, or?
It's on Chinese type of Twitch. There's two of them.
Okay.
One's Hoya and one's Doyo or something like that. I can't remember. I don't know. I could try to get you guys a link if you wanted it. And then what I do is
do you want us to have a link?
Yeah, I can provide a link down below. But yeah, I just record my game and then I review my game with my viewers so they could see what happened to me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's rad. And then there's the invitational, the Battle of the Boars Brawl event that was just announced, and that's in 2 days.
Yes, that's on Wednesday. Very excited for that. Been practicing with my teammate Sunglitters. I'm also on team with Show and Educated Collins. But Sunglitters and I have been teaming up and practicing a lot because it is a team Battlegrounds event. So there's a lot of different ways you play team tournaments because you can talk to each other and you can see each other's boards. So you can kind of power level certain turns, or if one person's strong, the other's weak, you can make your board different and stuff like that. So there's a lot of difference of playing team tournaments versus just playing on the ladder. So we practiced that a lot today.
If I remember correctly, weren't you doing an in-game emoji legend for, was it China Gold Series, because you weren't able to talk to your teammate?
So for China Gold Series, so for China Gold Series, it is a team tournament, but we aren't allowed to talk to each other and we aren't allowed to see each other's boards. So the only way we can talk is via emote. So I printed out what all the emotes meant. And if you can't see because you're listening, all the different waving emotes and stuff is like just different things.
So what does Happy Cow mean?
My board is strong and frowny face is my board is weak.
Aww.
And then we actually have something for if we're playing Rafam, like if we're Beast token, Elemental token, Murloc token. So like, let's say my teammate is playing Rafam turn 1 and he considers hero powering. Will he be able to get what I have so I can tell him what I have based on the emote?
Oh my goodness, that's
like next
deep.
level.
Yeah.
It's very situational because your partner has to be on their farm. It has to be turn 1 and they have to have a elemental and they're curious, can they sell their elemental, use their water droplet and hero power?
I want this to become meta knowledge so that I can start messing with my opponents when I'm on Rafam.
Yeah.
Well, I just Happy Cow all the time anyway, so I'm just like, my board is strong, my board is strong, my board is strong.
I Happy Cow every time I tie someone. I'm like, yeah, we both made it.
Look at us, we both won.
Yeah, I love happy cowing when both people should be happy. So, or like when Ragnaros gets his hero power done and I helped him, I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. I did this.
That is delightful. gotta learn your Battlegrounds etiquette, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then once we get that down, we can learn our secret Battlegrounds codes to communicate with one another. But, well, before we get in and actually, talk about everything in our experience with Quilboars over the past week, we want to thank those of you supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC. If you want to support this podcast, that is the best way to do it. Hat couldn't be here this week. Unfortunately, he had another engagement on Monday night. And we were like, well, we already confirmed with Slysssa. We're not going to move times around on our guests. So that's why Hat's not here. But we have picked up Hat as a new permanent resident of the Angry Chicken. A lot of you seem really stoked. You've been heading on over to patreon.com/TAC and signing up with your support. And we really appreciate that. And you get all kinds of stuff like access to our Discord and an ad-free version of the podcast feed. It's like a custom little RSS feed just for you. But anyways, we actually have too many new patrons to all thank in one day. So thanking you in the order that you signed up. If you don't hear your name, don't worry. We will get you eventually. But this week, we wanted to thank Joachim Olafsson, Clement Barzier is how I'm going to choose to pronounce that one, Mr. Caldwell, and simply Q. I love your exploding James Bond pens. Thank you, Q.
That was instantly where my head went to.
Yeah. It's that or Qbert. And, maybe they're over there cursing, standing on some cubes.
I'm impressed by your ability to read.
I mean, you're assuming that I'm correct, which
I am. You said it with such confidence. So I'm like, wow. I'm looking at the spelling like, I wouldn't have said that. Especially for you. I was like, what?
Well, thank you, Slysssa. I am to please. But thank you for your support, everybody. Check out patreon.com/TAC and go and support us here at the Angry Chicken today. And now let's just have a chat about Quilboar. It's the biggest update to Battlegrounds we've had in a long time. Slysssa, you haven't been on in a little bit, but like the last few times we've mentioned Battlegrounds on the show, we were like, it's a little basic without spells.
Boring. We needed some Quilboars.
Well, now
liven it up.
Now it's Quilboaring, which is not boring, but it's
opposite.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. And it really does seem to be all Quilboar all the time. I funny enough, I've been so preoccupied with not sucking myself, I haven't actually gone over to HS Replay to see which compositions were overperforming, and clearly Quilboar they're at the top regardless of how you slice the MMR. But they're basically tied with dragons if the higher up the MMR you go, according to HS Replay. So if you look at the
shenanigans,
just Amalgadons and Nadinas, and that's it.
That's what I found interesting, because I didn't take a peek at it until an hour before the show, because I was like, I haven't looked at this in a while. That being said, popularity of dragons is 3% compared to the 44% of Quilboar if I'm looking at the top 20% of the MMR range on HS Replay.
And then I want to point out the next highest win rate is Menagerie, but the Menagerie has mostly Quilboar in it.
It's running
Quilboars and
Charga.
amalgams.
Yeah, it's the Quilboar type of Menagerie, not the brand Lightfang type.
Who's got time for that when you can just get a Charga and a boar and just go?
The Charlie Pumbaa comp.
I knew you called it Charlie. I didn't realize you also had a nickname for whatever the hell the boar you actually want is.
Yeah, the boar looks like Pumbaa to me, so I call him Pumbaa. And for those who don't know, that's the tier 5 beast that came along with Quilboar. His name is, I don't know, the Great Boar. And
Pumbaa. We'll just call him Pumbaa.
Agamagan. I've never tried to say it properly. I just call him Pumbaa. And then what's the other one's name? Charlga?
Charlga.
Yeah,
just
that's too hard to say.
Rolls off the tongue.
It rolls off the. It's just Charlie, whatever.
I just keep saying Charles, but Charlie is more fun to say.
Charlga is the 6-drop that gives all other minions 1 blood gem, aka +1/+1, but certain minions get other boosts when they have a blood gem placed on them. So it's not just +1/+1.
Yeah, not if you're playing certain Quilboar.
I like how the devs are coming at me trying to explain the no, it's Pumbaa, it's Charlie. You
should probably just rename the cards now officially.
It's like, do you remember when when the official website and all verbiage pertaining to Battlegrounds only referred to what we call heroes as, what were they, bosses? Villains? What was it? They didn't call them heroes, but we all just called them heroes, and eventually they changed the website.
Oh my goodness. Why would they call it anything else?
Yeah, I think for like half of an episode I was trying to stick to the terminology, and I just gave up. Like,
do they still use the term warband?
I believe they do.
Yes.
I've never used that word before until just right now.
At least that one is cool. I like the term
warband.
Warband's a cool term. I can get down with warband. I just forget to use it and say board or comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, my comp.
Yeah.
My composition.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're going to get all fancy with it there, Slysssa.
I'm a teacher.
Look at you using full
please.
words.
Well, if people don't know what comp means, I got to teach them. It means composition. Because I don't say warband.
We're gonna
2 whole syllables. Don't do that.
Yeah. So how is your what is your kind of takeaway with Quilboar? Because at the top of the show we were joking / not joking about just draft them.
He's not joking. Draft them. So the tier 1s are nothing crazy. The like Razor Fen is the battle cry, gain a blood gem. I don't normally pick that unless I'm in a pickle, but you can actually start with Sunbake and Relaxer and kind of treat it as a token, because when you sell it, you gain 2 blood gems. So on turn 3, when you have 5 gold and you can pick up 2 minions, now you'll have 2 blood gems, which gives you a bit of a boost. But really where it starts to get really good is the 2 drops. There are 2 drops, the Frenzy gain a blood gem and the Tough Tusk. 4/3, after a blood gem is played, get Divine Shield for next combat. So you automatically have a 5/4 Divine Shield so early. And so both the 2 drops are very powerful. And then the 3 drops are super powerful, specifically Bannerboar and Bristleback Brute, because Bristleback can become a 7/7 instantly. Think of 4 mana 7/7. Like, it's just like you could have like a 7 gold 7/7 or 8 gold. And then Bannerboar, for those who like to play mechs and know the Sensei card, the 2/2 buff another minion 2/2. That's what this Bannerboar is. It gives each adjacent minion 1/1, and it's a 2/5. So Bannerboar is super powerful early game.
Yeah, and then what we talked about with Tough Tusk getting Divine Shield off of blood gems, and then Bristleback Brute getting +3/+3 off the first blood gem per turn played on it. You put a Bannerboar between them, and then you're just a bastard in the lobby in the mid game.
And
it frees you up to be able to play your blood gems on other things and just like wait for those activations that way.
Jocelyn, are you ascending to heaven?
I have a window behind me, and normally when we record, it's already dark, so it doesn't make a difference. But it's like I have books up there trying to block it, and apparently I did a bad job.
You look like the illustration for a white magic card.
Sorry, my bad. It's fine.
For the audio listeners, we're getting like it's glorious lens flare. Like it looks like it's on purpose.
It's because it comes in and it's like a really small window, so it's like a beam of light right into my camera.
But it took me far too many games, by the way, to figure out that Bannerboar plus Brute plus Tough Tusk was really, really good.
2, because I didn't pick Bannerboar in my China Gold series. I was offered, I tripled early into a 3 drop, and I took the 3/2, the Cobalt, whatever it's called. I don't know its name. The Divine Shield 3/2 that gets a Divine Shield
Deflectobot?
The one that replaced the,
yeah, the one that replaced Cobalt. I don't know its name. Oh my gosh.
It's called
I'm so
Rip
bad at
Cobalt.
this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the power of Bannerboard until like day 2. And then so then you go like the thing you have to know is just like tier 4 is super powerful and tier 6 is super powerful. And I think that's the biggest difference is last meta tier 5 was crazy good because that's where Bran was, that was where Lightfang was, and that was very much the meta. Where there's a ton of stuff on tier 4 and a ton of stuff on tier 6. So now instead of tripling into 3 and then tripling into a 5 drop, your goal should be to triple into a 4 and to triple into a 6. Or if you're super strong and a power level hero, you just go for the 6. Like just level on up and get a 6 drop right away because they're very, very powerful.
Yeah, I think power leveling meta is going to be a bit of a keyword on today's episode. We'll probably mention it more than once. I know we've got a question about it later on. And so like
my favorite play style, honestly.
And so as a refresher, and maybe I don't think any of the new heroes are, but what heroes are power level heroes? I mean, like I think of Rafam and Maiev as like the quintessential classic power leveling heroes, and obviously there's Omu as well.
Anything that gives you some sort of economy. So Rafam is economy because you can buy a minion for 1 gold instead of 3. So that means you get to use your money to level instead of to buy minions. That's how Maiev works as well. You're spending 1 gold to purchase a minion. Therefore, you get to allocate your money towards leveling instead of towards purchasing better minions. And because it's so cheap, you are able to level faster and therefore triple into a higher tier minion. So something like Nazdormu, which is a very standard level curve, you can't hyper level to get to that higher tier minion with your triple because you have to spend 9 gold to triple. Where with Rafam or Maiev, you could only spend 3 gold to triple. So that's what we talk about when we say a power level hero. Just something that gives you economy in a certain way. So yeah, those would be really good ones to mention. Of the new heroes, Zyrella is a power level hero because she gets a minion for 2 gold instead of 3.
Gotcha.
And you can kind of power level with Death Speaker because he gives you blood gems. So he gives you no, but I wouldn't call him like a power level hero. He's more of a tempo hero that has a lot of synergy with the best minions in the game.
Yeah. So you might be incentivized to level quicker if you happen to get lucky rolls where you're like, yeah, let's get some blood gems rolling.
Yeah, exactly. With him, if you just get a couple of really good starting Quilboar that utilize blood gems, then you could just level and just use the 2 that he gives you to continue to level.
So to go back, so where's the power at 4? Like, obviously the power at 6 is Charlie or Charlie.
I'm learning there's also a lot of interesting stuff you can do with Captain Flat Tusk, but she's a lot harder to play. Charlga is kind of, so for those who don't know Charlie, he gives at the end of your turn play a blood gem on all your friendly minions. And you can synergize him with the new 5 drop that is the boar, what I call Pumbaa, because he makes all blood gems +1 extra. So now you're getting 2/2 on all your units. So very powerful. And then Captain Flat Tusk is the other 6 drop, which is after you spend 3 gold, gain a blood gem. That works a lot more with the Agam Thorn Curse, the 5 drop. So it's more of a menagerie style.
Yeah. The thing is that like Charlga works just fine as well, especially if you find as you call him, Agamagam or whatever the hell the pronunciation is, because that is inherently a beast, even though it's part of the Quilboar kit. But yeah, it's Charlga and Boar work just as good as Thorn Curse. If you happen to assemble those, you can still go Menagerie.
Yeah, you can. But Charlga works really great. I thought he was great in Menagerie at first with the Agam Thorn Curse, but I found he's actually better in a straight up as much Quilboar as you can, because you can put it with Dynamic Duo, which is the 4-drop. Your taunt after a blood gem is played on another Quilboar gain 1/1. So the more Quilboar you can have on the board, then Charlie gives a bunch of Quilboar 1/1, and then Dynamic Duo stacks way faster.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
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 So
Which I wasn't sure if that would actually work because you weren't playing them from hand, but because
Right.
of the the actual text on the card says play a blood gem, so like the play action is happening. So my Dynamic Duo is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, oh, it's all my end of turn things. That is not how I thought that would work.
Yeah, at first I thought Charlie would do well, did really great in Menagerie, but I really do think he is geared more towards mostly Quilboar with a Pumbaa or two, whereas Captain Flat Tusk can do super well with Menagerie mixed with the Agam Thorn Curse, because then you could just basically every time you spend 3 gold, you get a blood gem. That includes rolling, so rolling for buffs. It includes buying things like the 3/3 pirate, where you just buy it and sell it, and you just get
your 3 gold back.
Yeah, you get 3 gold back.
I've only had one game where I really made Flat Tusk work so far, and it was a Menagerie game, as you're mentioning, and I just kept running into more Sunbacon relaxers, and it was so great because you'd buy it, you'd get a gem, you'd sell it, you get 2 more gems, and just keep the train going, and it reminded me of APM pirates, but, with pig people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gave me those vibes too. And it also works so if you level and you have to spend like 6, 7, 8 gold, whatever, like you'll get all of those gems like progress.
Yep.
It's not like one at a time. Yeah, and then you totally burn them. Yeah.
That was the first game where I was like, oh, right, hand size limit is still a thing in Battlegrounds.
Which I don't think that's ever really come up before.
Yeah. Flat Tusk works really well with Ground Shaker as well. For those who haven't been trying out Ground Shaker, highly recommend Ground Shaker. I definitely undervalued that card. So that's the 4-drop. After a blood gem is played on this, give your minions +2 attack for the next combat. So you just put all of them on Ground Shaker, and you can have as many like Divine Shields as possible or Cleaves. And then you're really powerful for that turn. And eventually you can move all those blood gems over using the tier 3 Necrolite. And you can move them over.
That is such a cool card.
Yes.
Because I found I've even taken it kind of mid-game when I've been taking my blood gems in the early game and putting them on a minion that I don't necessarily want to keep. It's like you don't lose all those buffs because you can just be like Necrolite them over to where you want them and then sell the minion you don't need anymore. It's crazy. Like it's such a cool idea.
We have that, and we have the Zul'jin hero, and so there's this like mini theme in this update about stat transfer, and I love it. I think it's like low key one of my favorite mechanics that has shown up in Battlegrounds.
I highly recommend to people who are testing out Quilboar to make sure that they use their blood gems right away. Maybe you could hold 1 or 2 for a specific reason, like, oh, I don't have a generator and I have the minion that needs to get 1 every turn to get the Divine Shield or something like that. Maybe hold 1 back in case you don't find 1 the next turn, but use them so you gain tempo, and then you can use Necrolite to pass on the buffs to a different minion. Don't be like me though, and I will use Necrolite to just try and transfer buffs. And not blood gems. And then I'll get sad when the buffs don't move.
Yeah. I could totally see making that mistake.
I definitely have had moments where I'm like, I transferred stuff over and then I'm like, why are you still a 9/9 in green? Like, what's going on?
Oops. And then, so just you put a bunch on Ground Shaker, which AoEs all the attack on your whole board, and then your Ground Shaker gets really big, so you can just kind of move on those over to a Cleave or Divine Shield unit when you have time. And then the true people's favorite, I would say, on tier 4 is Bonker. Sir Bonker. Oh my goodness.
He's
gracious.
bonkers.
He's very bonkers because as of now, when he attacks, he gets a blood gem and he has Wind Fury. And then when he's golden, not only does he have Mega Wind Fury, so he attacks 4 times, but he also gives you 2 per. So he can give you 8 blood gems. Especially if you golden him right away as Reno.
Yes.
Because he's
I ran into that.
Yep. He's massive in size when you golden him, and then he just attacks 4 times, 8 blood gems, and you just win the whole game from there.
Yeah, that was gross. I think that was like my second or third game on the patch.
Oh yeah.
I was delayed by a day too because that's when I had my fever, and so I didn't play until the next day. And so some people had definitely learned a thing or two. And there was a Reno in my lobby, and I was like, "What? What was that? What just happened?"
The common thing for Reno to do if he gets a token turn 1, you just level turn 2, level turn 3, level turn 4. So on turn 4, like you're tier 4 or turn 5, I guess you're tier 4 0 minions. And then you just you get like 1 or 2 rolls for bonker and hero power right away and just win.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Gross.
I feel no sympathy for any Renos out there that whiff and don't find the bonker when they deploy that strat.
Dare you? I'm competing right now, and I don't like that you're calling me out like this.
Okay, let me specify. If you're in my game, I feel no sympathy for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. If you're my friend and you're competing in a major tournament, which is a pretty small pool of people.
I would hope that you wish me well.
I think that's a pool of Slysssa.
I love that you're assuming that I'm sitting there watching your tournament going,
How dare you?
Oh, yeah, she whiffed. She didn't find the bonker. I'm so entertained. Oh yeah. Oh geez. So coming back, we've spent a lot of time talking about like these tier 5 units, or I guess we spent a lot of time talking about Thorn Curse more than anything else. But is the reason you're saying that the powers on 4 and 6 is because you kind of need Flat Tusk at 6 to really make Thorn Curse pop off?
Yeah, it's like Charlie you can do without the beast. But if you have the beast, the Pumbaa, then you're just sitting there with, you need Charlie first. And then there's also just a lot of powerful things at 4. So if you can't find triples, you can stay at 4 for a bit and just keep looking for triples. If you level to 5, you're lowering your odds of finding the triples, because when you level to 5, you do not get an extra minion on Bob's shop. You only get extra minions from Bob's shops when you level to an even number. So you're lowering the pool to triple into a 6, and just the 6s, the 5s are only good when you have the 6. So
yeah,
because the Agam, what we're saying is you need a lot of generators for the Agam Thorn Curse, and without Flat Tusk, you don't have a generator for the most part.
Yeah, I am sadly extremely familiar with making Charlie work minus the boar. Because I cannot find, I'm like every game, I'm like, ooh, I got lucky, I found Charlie, and I'm just like, I don't think the boar exists. I think I'm getting punked. But yeah, it's interesting. But this is kind of the thing, right? Because it's I think we've already achieved meme status with the Quilboar. It seems to be the only thing that the Battlegrounds community wants to talk about is that this tribe has landed quite strong, and it's just the way to go. And I have seen a lot of people kind of conflating it or relating it to elementals at launch, and I don't think it's even close to that bad. I think Quilboars are so much more interesting, and there's so many different avenues to building Quilboar in a way that elementals, it just didn't work. We were just finding a little rag and we were just going off.
Right. I agree, because with elementals, it was like you just went full elemental every time. Where Quilboar has a lot of interesting synergies where you could end up going a lot of different ways of menagerie or a lot of different ways of full Quilboar. But the common denominator is if you don't have a Quilboar on your board, you're probably not winning. And so that is the common thing. And but it's very, very, very interesting. And I will say that it's better for a release to have overpowered than underpowered. If you think back to when pirates were first released, they were super underpowered, and it created just kind of like a boring release because there wasn't incentive to you tried it didn't work, so the meta didn't feel different. And
I agree. And I would
yeah.
have to imagine that as the developers too, like Blizz wants to see a lot of games logged with Quilboar, and they want to see all of the different possibilities of composition that can happen and just get as many games logged as possible so that they can just get a massive amount of statistics to pour over.
Well, if you also think about it too, there's a lot of synergies with pirates that we didn't pick up on right away because they just weren't that powerful. So until Eliza got buffed, we didn't really realize the synergy with the 2-1 Death Rattle Pirate and Eliza's and Khadgar's and Baron's. Like, we didn't notice all that until Eliza got buffed, and it took months.
Who's Khadgar? I know Chad and I know Dadgar. I don't know who this Khadgar is.
What is this? Professional using professional names.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who are you and what have you done with Slysssa? You're using proper card terminology.
But with people I hate, like Khadgar, I get a little feisty and use their full name.
That's how you know Slyssa's mad at them. No fun nicknames. Nope. All business.
That inner teacher coming out again. Oh God, she yelled my full name. I'm in trouble. Oh, geez.
I can't help it. Instincts.
Yeah, but like I'm really I'm jazzed on the whole concept of having these different avenues of building Quilboar, and I really want to see the other tribes in the game kind of go down this path where we have various options. And I most of them do. There are other ways to go, but I struggle to think of an example of another minion type where there's like two basically equally viable kind of compositions that you can assemble. And I can't come up with a good example because there's a couple different ways to build pirates, to use an example we were just talking about.
Not anymore.
Well,
APM pirates have been killed.
Desperate times call for desperate Eliza, hope for the best. I don't know.
I've literally retired my pirate hat. It's on the ground. It's so sad. It's just like...
For the audio audience, she just picked it up upside down with a sad face.
You just can't play pirates. You can play Eliza Scam Comp, which is the Exodia that I was just talking about earlier, but APM pirates with Hogger and Salty Leader very much seem dead, though there is a way to play it with Captain Flat Tusk, where because Captain Flat Tusk rewards you for spending more gold. After you spend 3 gold, you gain a blood gem. So you can have like a golden hog or golden salty leader, Captain Flat Tusk, and play APM pirates, buy a ton of things, get a bunch of blood gems, and throw them onto something that's useful.
Yeah.
But it's still like enabled by another minion type as opposed to the pirates, right?
Yeah.
Well, Captain's in the name. Just because Flat Tusk isn't wearing a hat.
We need to start getting like hybrid ones, like not all the way to Amalgadons, but just like pirate Quilboars and like Quilboar beasts. And we need hybrids.
Okay, then we're going to need some icons because I don't think Quilboar / pirate is going to fit on that tiny little tribal moniker at the bottom of the minion cards.
That's true. You go like itty bitty teeny tiny font.
What if they did that for each type? Like, so that like Quilboar mech got 1 and Quilboar beast got 1 and Quilboar, and every mix, and that would be a whole set for them to release because there's not like too many ways you can mix and match the types. So. Oh
yeah, that'd be really interesting, like a cross type patch. They'd have to come up with a more exciting
dual class cards, but dual minion types.
Yeah. That I'd be all for that. But yeah, that's the thing is coming back around to it. Like I'm just really excited about how interesting it is to draft Quilboar right now, and so I'm just going. I hope they're learning lessons, and we're gonna see like what they've learned here and how these pieces all work together in different ways, and apply that to the existing minion types that are out there. Because I've just been having a blast just drafting in games right now, and it has been strange and. The memes are not dreams. Like just draft Quilboar. There's enough different ways to make these comps work that you'll probably find an avenue to success. But it's not. I don't know. Like I said, it's like to me, it's not. you go back to those first few weeks post the elemental patch, and I'm like, I'm so bored with Battlegrounds right now. If I run into one more high rolling elemental, I'm going to lose my mind.
Gosh, well, Ragnaros was so broken then too. He was insane. So I just remember everyone was having like 200 minions, or Gars with 300, 400 health, or something ridiculous. And the Quilboar aren't becoming that big, so people have to remember.
I find that bad. I don't necessarily, unless I get the golden taunt guide, the golden dynamic duo early, then I find it can get pretty big. But it's like I don't have one gigantic minion. It's like my whole board is just big.
Yeah.
Like it's
Your
like they
whole
took
board
all
is
of
big?
those. Yeah, my whole board is big.
Board.
It's like they took all of the stats that we were seeing on elementals, and instead of it just being on one, it's like spread out across all 7. But you still have all those numbers. It's too many numbers.
A little piece of advice to people, because that's how it is right now, where you just see a bunch of like big statted minions. It used to be really popular to have a bumper up front, right? A minion to break divine shields and stuff like that. Not important right now. It's actually, you just need to put your biggest thing or a poison first. It's less likely to need a bumper in this meta.
All poison to the front of the line.
Yeah.
A poison or your biggest unit, send it to the front to start knocking off the big minions. So
Well, that's good, because I usually have a cleave that's massive thanks to Necrolite. It's good stuff. Well, before we move on, let's take a quick break and thank this week's sponsors. And that's where I will insert it.
Is your timestamp.
Part of the ship, part of the crew over there, Slysssa.
45:16 of the Twitch.
Sick. All right, now we'll come back and... All right, so we've touched a little bit on the new heroes in our conversation, but what else should we know about them? Because like Vol'jin still kind of makes my head hurt a little bit.
Oh my gosh. I thought Vol'jin would be so broken. And then I started playing him in my head. Also felt very hurt and broken. And I was like, what am I doing? He's a very, very challenging hero to play. Way more than I expected.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Internet or Joce or Slysssa, but I don't think we've ever had an effect in Hearthstone where we could select 2 targets until Vol'jin.
That's what I've been told. Now, I did not fact check because it's not in my job description, but I believe that is what the Internet is telling us.
Oh, thank God. Celestalana is in the chat room and is confirming that it is indeed new. So.
All righty. I can confirm that this is new, and I fact checked it. So
yeah.
Vol'jin's interesting because his hero is choose 2 minions, swap their stats. So very good in the early game, because in the early game you can buy something like the 1/2 mech that has reborn, but then swap its stats with the 2/3 dragon in the shop, and then you're a bit more powerful, or even a token minion or something. But there's a lot of like tiny switches you can do. And then in the mid game, it's a bit interesting because of auras. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you have, let's say, the 3/3 pirate, the captain, and you have 2 of them, it's casting an aura on other pirates that give +1/+1. You switch them, it keeps the aura, builds the pluses, and now you're actually adding minion stats.
Wait, it considers the aura buff a permanent stat? That
A stat,
bakes
yeah.
in
So
upon
it just
swap?
takes the numbers and whooshes them over, and then auras again.
I did not know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And then in my mind, I thought Vol'jin would be really easy because you just like make something big and swap it. But it's not easy to just make big minions out of thin air. You have to do something to make big minions. So,
and then you're just making one big, one small, right? So
yeah. So I found that like you have to find direction in the mid game so that you are creating big minions not out of thin air, and so that you can actually swap them to the correct minion. So you could go with demons early with the pink boy Wrathweaver and switch that once you find a cave hydra or something. But otherwise, you can't just find stats out of thin air. A lot of minions don't have a ton of stats to start with. It's not like, oh, you get Foe Reaper and like, oh, I can just grab bigger stats in the shop. It doesn't work that way. So
Yeah.
have to be able to figure that out. So I think Vol'jin's actually a really challenging hero to play.
I agree. I've played one game with him since patch, and that was just a brain
Yeah.
a brain pain session for sure. And I think one of my lower finishes.
Well, he's tricky. He's not the kind of hero that you can just jump in. Like, I got Death Speaker, whatever his name is.
Blackthorn.
Blackthorn. So I got him, and he's really straightforward. It's like, after you do a thing, you get blood gems. Like, I can wrap my head around that.
After
I
you
can
do a
get in
thing that
there
you
and-
want to do, get more
Yeah.
things that you want to do.
Get
Exactly.
rewarded for leveling.
And then, but with Vol'jin, it's like you have to really stop and think, and when do I want to do it, and where do I want to steal it from, and like there's so much more thought that goes into that than push a button I'm already pushing and get another thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Death Speaker Blackthorn is really good for those who aren't picking them, him, her, not sure. The very powerful because Quilboar are powerful. And so it rewards you for just finding them in the shop. And then you could just level actually faster than you normally would. But if Quilboar gets nerfed and Quilboar aren't as powerful, then this hero will be nerfed. So,
Well, and he's also great too because they're in every lobby, right? Because I don't think he's going to be taken out of the pool like.
he will be.
Oh, he will be. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
confirmed? I could
Yes,
see
that's
an argument.
Confirmed. Yeah, no, it is confirmed. The only one that doesn't is like the Nazoth fish one. I think is like the only one that really doesn't. But yeah, he gets removed when
Quilboars aren't
out.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
I can
good to
confirm
know.
that.
I was about to say,
I've got-
I could see an argument like where like blood gems are
Blood
always
gems are still a buff.
inherently,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but
And for
the
those-
But they're
don't
definitely
know.
way more powerful with
Yeah.
Quilboar synergy, right? So
And Pumbaa is in if beasts are out because Pumbaa,
Yes.
while it is a beast, it has all the Quilboar synergies. So Pumbaa will always be in when Quilboar are in, Quilboar out, Pumbaa out. It's kind of like Megasaur, where Megasaur was a beast,
Right.
but was in with Murloc.
that was a
Oh.
Murloc minion. Yeah.
Yeah.
pour one out for Megasaur,
Yeah.
or do we?
I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe now that everything else is so powerful, he'd be okay.
Nope.
You'd have to chop
Nope.
the neck off of Jandis if you wanted to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no.
Jandis took away that fun.
That's true.
Have you seen George's win rate? It's still real high, which
Yes.
you give everyone access to Divine Shield, Poisonous Murlocs again, and I'm getting an incoming call from Vigil. He's very angry. He wants to have a word with us because we just entertained the idea of letting Megasaur back in.
I'm sorry, Vigil. Don't hate me.
Yeah. So you mentioned Zyrella is a bit of a power leveling hero.
Cyrella's great. She's a really good hero for those who aren't picking her. Her hero power is choose a minion in Bob's Tavern and add it to your hand, set its stats to 2, so it becomes a 2/2 minion. In the early game, you can make minions better. You can hero power tokens or like the 1/2 or something. It also lets you roll turn 1. Like let's say you get a shop with no token, you can roll once and try to get something better. So that's interesting. And like on turn 3, when you're on 5 gold, she gets a hero power buy. So that means that she'll always have 3 minions on turn 3, which not a lot of people do if they don't have a token. And she can hero power pairs so that she doesn't have to play them to find triples. She gets the power level because, again, her economy. And she can also use the hero power on things like Murazond or Faceless or something like that. Something you pick up, but it's just a pickup. You know what I'm saying?
So
I can't tell if,
so do
if
the
your
doggies.
puppies are agreeing with you or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, they
They're
are.
like, yes, mom, you got it. Or like, no, mom, you're so wrong.
They love Zyrella. The dogs.
Everyone knows
endorse.
dogs are very passionate about value, okay?
Yeah.
Very, very passionate about value in card games.
I haven't actually seen a lot of Zyrella. I don't
Oh,
know why people
really?
aren't picking her, but I haven't seen her in very many of my lobbies. Like I've seen like Death Speaker in like almost everyone. Vol'jin a couple of times, but like yeah, no, I haven't been offered her yet, but
I think people don't value or don't see her as the economy hero she is. And she's like Yogg, but targeted, therefore better. She's better than Yogg, I would say.
Yeah, because Yogg peters off of like turn 6.
Yeah.
Because that buff is only worth so much.
Yeah, exactly. Where her hero power late game can be really powerful. If you're just like rolling for that triple and you run out of money, but it only costs 2, so it's like, oh, I could do it. Like, yeah, it's very strong.
Yeah, it's I've seen quite a bit of Zyrella in my lobbies. I only had her offered to me once, and I was offered George, and Murlocs were in the lobby, so I was like, everyone's going Quilboar, I'm picking
you went
George.
for the win instead of the fun. Boo, Garrett, boo.
I was like, I don't feel like learning a new hero right now, and I can just get Divine Shield, Poisonous Murlocs when I know exactly how all 7 other players in this lobby are going to be playing the game.
Is very interesting and flexible and just overall good hero if you use her properly, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely sold me on Zyrella. I haven't really been paying attention to this hero all that much, but I
would say the turn to focus on is, you know how on 8 gold you normally stay on 3, but you can get to tier 4 on 8 gold with her and have a full board and like we said, 4 drops is where things start to get really powerful. So.
I always think of it as turns, so I'm trying to think how much gold do I have on what turn. So that'd be turn 6.
So on 8 gold, I don't know what turn that is. I think that's turn 6. I always think of gold.
I believe it's turn 6 because turn 7's like the standard one unless you're playing a power level hero.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. Pretty sure that's correct.
You level to 3 on 7 gold, and then on 8 gold you can level to 4 with her in particular.
Can you tell I only ever play Battlegrounds with the deck tracker on?
Yeah, I don't need to remember. Deck tracker just tells me it's right there.
I'm starting to think you should focus on your gold more, and that would increase your play. Whenever I co-op with people, that's like the best way to get our game like better is you think about the way you use your gold. So I never think of actual turns.
Well, sign me up for Slysssa Academy.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Well, rad. Rat King, it was just they added the Quilboar, right? That was the new Rat King thing.
Yeah, there's nothing
special.
else.
Oh.
Yeah, different.
Have you noticed anything with existing heroes in terms of being way better with Quilboar than initially expected?
Let me look real fast so I don't think or forget of anyone. Hook Tusk is really powerful right now. I thought Cthulhu would fall off, but he did not.
No, not at all.
Okay, well, I think everyone would admit Tess. Because if
Tess
forcing
is
Quilboar,
really good.
Yeah, everyone's forcing Quilboar, so you get to just like, oh, more Quilboar for me. Like, I'll take those.
It's the first time I've been like actively hoping for Tess.
I had a lot of luck too with Zeph because everyone's kind of forcing Quilboars. So if you're trying to get Quilboars too, I found I was getting a lot of like pairs, but it's really hard to find the triple because everyone else is grabbing them. So I'm just like, well, you know what? Triple. You know what else? Triple again. Yeah. How about I triple a third time? And then I won and I was really happy.
Oh man, I got second place with Lich Boss Heil. Because it's a power level meta. It's power level. You have all this extra economy, so you have to
hadn't thought about that.
I don't think I've played her since like original OG when she was in first time Battlegrounds. Like I don't even think I have a top 4 finish with her. I see her and I'm like, no, get out.
I played Lich, Vaziel, I think the week before patch dropped, and it was a misclick on a Finley option. I was like, I guess I'm Basil now.
And then you're one of those ones that just shows up as KT right at the very beginning of the game,
Yeah,
and you're like, what happened there?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ragnaros got a lot worse. Patches got a lot worse. Actually, I used patches the other day to just find triples and triple into Charlie. And I became Quilboar, and I was Quilboar patches.
I mean, triples are pretty important at the moment.
Yeah,
as it
so
would
you
turn out.
could use patches, but I would say if you patches is not a pirate hero right now. He's a force triple hero.
Is anyone any kind of hero other than a Quilboar hero, though?
No.
Even if you're a menagerie hero, you're still a Quilboar
you're
hero.
actually a Quilboar hero.
Yeah.
Ragnaros just is so bad because there's not a lot of token stuff with Quilboar. So you're just not killing enough minions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Ragnaros, I think, has fallen off. But I still do see some people play him well. And Reno, again, like I said, super powerful. Just level to 4 in hero power or something. Even
Literally anything if it has a
Yeah,
Quilboar tag.
yeah, hit it. Even
It'll
the
work
3
out.
drops, you can hero power that 2/5 Quilboar that buffs the ones next to it.
Well, I forget every time, and it's probably my most golden Quilboar so far is the one that gets Divine Shield for the next turn when you put a blood gem on it.
When
If you get the
yeah.
golden, it's a perma Divine Shield.
Yeah.
So you're not forced to sink blood gems into it every turn from there on out. So that even that has an upside to
But that one's
golden.
nice to put them on because you're not forced, but then it's just a little bigger. So
Right. And it has Divine Shield, so why wouldn't
it
you
has
want it to
divine-
have
yeah.
a larger attack
Yeah.
value, right?
I
It's
can't believe that one's already starting as a 4/3. That one needs to start a little bit lower, I think.
I listen as someone who like initially I remember at BlizzCon playing the demo version of Battlegrounds, just being like, I'm in love with mechs, and I'm still in love with mechs. I am just sitting here being the grumpiest Battlegrounds player ever. I'm looking at the stats on that Divine Shield board, going, "Hi, mechs would like to have a word."
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
because it's-
dare you?
A tier 2 starts bigger.
Yeah. Chad, are you still in the chat room? I just have a very quick question. First of all, how dare you?
Dare you do this to mechs? I think mechs were just like the golden boy for so long in
Yeah.
Battlegrounds at the beginning, and that was before I played it too much. And then right as I switch over is when it got like goodbye Cobalt. Let's like make Junkbot tier 5. It belongs there. Lol.
Yeah, they just really just took the bottom out. I did have a pretty rad mech board thanks to Charlga plus Boar the other day. It was like I was going for the menagerie build and it just never happened. So I was like, I guess I'm Quilboar mech. Like that's my board, and it worked really well. I think I got second that game.
I got to watch a lot of games this last week, and I hosted a tournament, and I had 88 people play, and a lot of them were like 13,000 MMR and higher. So I got to actually watch. It was great because I don't have time to watch Quilboar, so I had to try and learn everything just on my own. So seeing other people play, I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. It was great. It was a very good learning experience for me. But what I saw one guy do in particular, his name is Pocky, and he kept forcing like more mech Quilboar, and then would just kept switching everything on over to a mech, put a Noia module on it, like switching on over to Faux Reaper. And he was really jamming out to Quilboar mech synergies. And I thought it was really awesome.
I appreciate you letting me bother you after I came out of my COVID vaccine fever, because I was like, Slysssa, I didn't play for the whole patch today because I was horribly ill. What's going on? And you're like, tier 4, tier 6, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just focus on those. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. I really think that was my biggest issue in the beginning. I'm so used to tripling for a 5 drop all the time. Just go for the 5s, and I had to learn to go for 6s, and if I'm not strong enough, go for a 4, and then later go for a 6.
Yeah. Well, let's do some Q&A before we bring this to an end. We got quite a few questions for you, and just kind of Battlegrounds in general from our Discord. So, and for listeners at home, if you want to write in, if you're not in the Discord, if you're not a patron, that's totally fine. Send us an email at tacpodcast@gmail.com. But Hachikumo wants to know, as blood gems are introduced, how do you enjoy keeping track of your hand size being a constant factor now? And then says, in parentheses, it used to be a luxury to have hand size issues.
I love hearing about like people playing Bigglesworth the cat. and they have like they're generating blood gems in their turn, and then they're burning their minions given to them by dead people. Like that just makes me happy.
Whoa, okay, wait, hang on. Back that train up. What do you have against the kitty?
I like when I play the cat, but when other people play the cat, I need them to die.
I was about to say, now I'm feeling attacked by you, Slysssa, because I love playing Bigglesworth.
Yeah, super
we're
fun.
cat people here.
Yeah, I like cats. You know, I'm more of a dog person, but I do like cats. Yeah, hand size issues is a big issue, and I was running into it a lot. Like I said earlier in the Gold series, where everything I did was generating new cards and also generating blood gems, and you have to figure out like when do I spend the blood gems. I kept wanting to hold on to them in case I found a Pumbaa or in case I found something better, but you have to just use them or you lose them. And I wish that was in my brain more because yeah, hand size is such an issue. But I think that's what makes this mechanic interesting and gives you content. It gives you a lot of like happiness and like figuring it out or like anger. But it does make the game more fun, I think.
Yeah, to me, I think I'm just excited that I need to worry about it. And I think it's still a luxury.
It's an added layer of complexity, right?
Yeah. And it's still a luxury, right? Like if you are having this issue, you probably drafted pretty damn well. Like if you're getting too many blood gems, like that's a great problem to have. But yeah, I definitely at least 3 games last week burnt cards, and I was just like, oh no, and it still was fine. But we're all gonna learn. We're all gonna get a lot more efficient with this, and suddenly burning blood gems is gonna be very, very important. But yeah, what was our next question, Joce?
AJ Guy wrote in and said, do you guys think that forcing the new tribe, especially when they tend to launch in an overpowered state, to appear in every match for however many weeks was the right move? Should it be shorter or perhaps not at all?
It's definitely the correct move because some people only get to play the game like 2 times a week. That's all they have time for. And so if they get to queue 2 times a week and Quilboar out, oh, that feels bad. Like... You want them to enjoy it. Not everyone gets to be like me and play 10 to 12 hours a day.
I am so glad that you keep that in perspective because we talk about that a lot.
I was going to say, I hate this. Like, I want them to rotate right away personally, but.
No, like, because I come from the casual perspective because I used to, be a full-time teacher. So I taught all day. I had to drive 2.5 hours a day. I had to coach all day and I tutored. So I taught all day, coached all afternoon, tutored all night. I literally would only get to play 1 or 2 games per day. And so I always I like to think back to like that mindset of when I got to play Hearthstone and I get so excited. I want to play new things. So when things get changed too often, it's very daunting for a casual. And I've been there, so I totally get it. And yeah, you got to keep it in.
Yeah. I feel like, I guess, for me, I felt like, because again, last week was not the greatest week. And so I didn't get to play for a couple of days after the patch came out. And it felt like when I was getting in, everyone had already figured out Quilboars. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. I'm still reading cards. Like, what? Stop it. So like for me, it was like, because I hadn't had a chance to play and Quilboars were in every lobby, everyone else at my MMR had already figured it out. And I was like, oh man, okay, now I have to play catch up. I lost a whole bunch of lobbies and like that experience isn't great either. Like if they were in, even if they did something that wasn't permanent, like 100% of the time they're in, but say like give them a 70% chance of showing up or something, just like weight it towards them without making it 100% of the time, just so it kind of slows down the learning process for everybody else a little bit. Like stretch that new thing out a little bit longer,
or if we
before it's like solved.
Or if we got a casual mode.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, I don't have to make.
Or
10
if
accounts.
I could like spectate a lobby and see what everybody's doing?
Yes, if I could just continue to watch the
Yeah.
game.
That'd be cool.
This is not like a incognito conversation
I'm not
about other
devs
things
right now.
Yeah.
I'm not yelling at you.
I'm just saying things that I feel
Yeah.
are obvious tools and additions that the game should have in a public setting.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. That's it. I saw in an interview. Oh, what was it? There was an interview very recently where Alec Dawson was talking about Battlegrounds, and they were hinting at the fact that it's approaching the end of the quote unquote beta tag.
There's an end?
Yeah, I thought it was a meme at this
I
point.
did
Like it was just
too.
gonna be beta for life. Like,
I thought it was just part of the title. It's
It's
like
part
the
of the
game
name,
is
yeah.
actually called Battlegrounds Beta.
Battlegrounds beta, yeah.
BB. I've seen people on Twitter be like, "Oh, I don't play that game yet because it's still in beta." And I'm
What? Oh, okay.
like, every
Wow.
time I read
Well,
that,
that's a
I
take.
yeah, I'm like,
What
wow.
what boomer gamer are you? Do you not play games in early access either? Like, how do you have anything new to play in the last
Yeah.
year?
There's people that are like, I get frustrated with kinks and with bugs. So if it's in beta, I'm not gonna play it. And I'm like, oh well, I think you're missing out. But
Yeah, let me introduce you to Blizzard beta.
Yeah. As long as we're not talking about Warcraft Reforged, their betas
Yeah.
are phenomenal. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was such an interesting take. Oh,
That is very odd. I mean, it's fascinating for sure. King Dupless wants to know, do you think the cost to Tavern Up needs to go up in order to slow down or punish the power level metas we keep seeming to get into?
I like them. It's
So-
my
You
favorite
like
way to
Alex,
play,
so
what?
you like Alex. Like you're a
That's
number
true,
one
yes.
Alex
I
cheerleader.
am weird.
So that doesn't surprise
I get
me.
that.
that used to be a thing. It used to cost more to level to 6. They changed it during Dragons, I believe. They made it cheaper to level to 6. So it used to take a lot longer to get there.
I think that was the case, yeah. But so much
And
of
I
the
feel
power
like
level
nobody
meta is
ever
getting
got
to.
there.
Yeah, it used to be that no one ever got to tier 6.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I feel
but
like
they made it cheaper.
I feel like so much of when we talk about a power leveling meta, we're focusing more on getting to 5, triple into 6, not necessarily
Yeah.
get to 6 and roll.
So the way you would fix the power level meta is a couple things. For one, you can move minions around. So moving some down to 5 or moving some from 4 to 5 or something like that. So making 5 as equal as 6 would be something like that. Or also nerfing the economy heroes would be the other thing to do. So I think that would change it because, yeah, I don't think you need to change the cost of leveling because that would be quite a burden on players. That changes every single hero's level, like standard leveling guide, and I think that would be a huge switch up to the game.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would have
Chat
like
room
an-
right now is mentioning making a tier 7.
That's
That'd
where
be interesting.
Megasaur is. Megasaur and Holy Mackerel live up there. in
Wait, tier
Pogo.
7 is hell? That's where Megasaur is.
Is.
Make it no. Megasaur is rotting in hell. That's where
Then
Megasaur is.
HS Replay would have to change their name to tier 8 then.
Yeah.
That's right. That's their premium
Yeah,
thing.
that's their
Again,
premium
not
thing, yeah.
sponsored. Yeah. It would have a knock-on effect too. I'd like it would you would not artificially, you would intentionally slow down the game, or it would just put a larger importance on lower tiers. Like we're talking about the power that's in 4 right now. That might just become a much more important part of the overall Battlegrounds meta for any given lobby.
I mean, there's a lot of issue with like what I was saying, like the economy of leveling is just like so clear cut right now, and it's purposeful. And so if you changed it, it would make things really awkward. But another thing you could do to help with this power level is to get rid of token damage is an issue because it's like excessive damage is an issue.
I mean, they've talked about looking at the damage from Death Rattle, like things like Gas Coiler, what feels like forever
Which is something
ago.
I said like 9 months ago that they should do, and everyone was like, no, and I'm like, no, but it sucks when you have like something that could give you anything in the range of 1 to 6 damage, like just on a random roll. Like that's too much variance.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like it has to be a coding thing where it's like, well, anytime that this Void Lord pops out, it's a 5-drop, and
It's
the
worth
game
5,
can't
yeah,
register
yeah.
it any other way. So part of me thinks it's a coding thing that they haven't figured out, because otherwise they have no reason not to fix it. I
It
can't think
just
of any
seems
other
more
reason.
fair if anything that's like generated or summoned just is 1 star, right? Instead of something that you've like chosen and invested in and is part of your build, like that should be worth damage. That's, you know, a choice that you've made versus like just total random luck.
Yeah.
I've killed people off of like scammy boats before, and I'm just like, I am really sorry that this gave me 3 6-drops.
Yeah. Like, this is 3 Elizas, and I had a Khadgar, so it was 6 Elizas. I'm so sorry. That was hilarious. I
I'm
killed
sorry
you on
about
turn
your
6.
face.
Yeah. The other thing they could do is they could have a limit, like, hey, you can only deal up to 15 damage per turn. Something like
But
that.
the achievements.
Okay. To play devil's advocate.
I need my gold star.
Yeah, I do need my gold star. Thank you very much.
I want to play devil's advocate on this thought for just a moment, and I promise this is going to sound like I'm a bad person, but
You like to watch 40 damage hit someone's face? Is that what you're going to say?
no, I'm going to say, haven't we? We've all come on. We've all been there. We've all just had Bob just absolutely just give us garbage offers when you've tripled multiple times into 6-star units, and you're just looking at it and you know you're going against some jerk that got a perfect board, and just like, my only chance is the YOLO gas coiler and hope I just accidentally murder this fool. And when you do hit it, because the game was like totally wrecking you with RNG, it does feel a little good. I'm not gonna lie, the amount of times where I've gone, gas coiler, take the wheel.
I've never done that. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done that in multiple tournaments.
We've all been there. And Slyssa's is on record. You can watch it back.
0.01% to kill Crip did feel pretty good. He wasn't salty. He never gets salty. What
Never,
are you
ever.
About? No.
Yeah, which I think the way I take that, like in a constructive direction, is that there's a lack of comeback mechanics. Like if you really do get owned by RNG, which is an inherent, part of this game mode.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Any draft game is inherently like there's a large factor of randomness that is part of what makes it fun. However, I've seen that chatter going around recently too. Is like, hey, can we entertain the idea of comeback mechanics? What would they even look like in this mode? And I find it fascinating. And to me, that's linked. That's linked. If you're on board with obscene damage off of tokens, I think what you really want is a way to claw your way back into the game when Bob is serving you junk.
There's technically a comeback mechanic, but it is still RNG based. It's facing the ghosts. That's your comeback mechanic. But you have to be bottom 3, and there has to be an odd amount of players, and then you have to hit the 33% that you get the ghost, which you don't do 67% of the time. But getting the ghost would technically be the comeback mechanic, and some people, you purposely do that. You purposely kind of stick in the bottom, especially with the power level heroes, so that you can face the ghosts. I call it abusing corpses.
Okay. We're just gonna let that one
that's a good
lie.
thing.
We're gonna...
Sorry. What? Cut it. Timestamp. Okay, so
that's not how it works.
I actually call it something totally different that is not that.
when you see someone drop out of a lobby early, what you do is you play stupid greedy. You play so stupid greedy so that you get to face that ghost as much as possible, and then you get to power level, and that's a strategy. It is. There's no name for it. There's no, like, you can call it what you want.
Oh man, we got another question that was kind of in the same vein of like extending the game, I guess. In the DG wrote in and said, do you think increasing player health would increase the battleground length by a couple of rounds and have a positive effect on the meta? So kind of in the same vein as our last question of like, I mean, do we want longer battlegrounds?
So I've been dabbling in TFT and I really enjoy it, but you need more time to play TFT because it does take longer. And so a lot of people ask me a similar question, which is, do you think they should add minions that heal? And that's the same thing. If it heals your face, you're extending the length of the game. And I would say no, I think they're happy with the length because it is a Hearthstone game. It's Blizzard, so they tend to try to lean towards the more casual audience, and they know that audience doesn't have as much time. I know a lot of people who are getting into the game because they have kids and they can no longer play like long MOBA games or something like that, so they've been learning Battlegrounds. So I do agree that it does feel bad right now in the power level how short it is, but I don't know if increasing the length or the health is better. But I do think a dev once said publicly that they were testing giving different heroes different health.
Yeah, I think Ixar did say that in one of the Twitter AMAs.
Perfect.
Okay. Don't worry, you're not spilling any beans. No.
Yeah, I know that was something they tested was, okay, let's give certain heroes to try to make the power levels more equivalent. Let's give some of the weaker hero power heroes more health and the higher ones less health. And that was a test they were doing.
It sounds like an interesting idea. I like having that kind of variance. And it's the value that they have to play with that outside of stitches? Maybe? Patchwork? Which
Patchwork.
one? Yeah.
Patchwork,
Big amalgam guy.
You're getting Heroes of the Storm confused with Hearthstone.
I'm hot right now.
Go subscribe to Into the Nexus and use hot slogs, please. Thank you.
Yeah. But there's they haven't really played with health values, and that could definitely be an avenue for balance, because I think both of those questions kind of stem from the same place, which is I don't like taking fatal damage on turn 6 or 5 or 7 or whatever. Like, it's too early to die. I don't like it. People are high rolling, whatever. Yeah. And so I think both these questions stem from that same kind of core problem. And I do like the idea. I don't know why we haven't heard kind of more about it, of playing around with the health of heroes.
Just remember, for however bad it feels for you, think of how good it feels for your opponent who just killed you on turn 6.
Again, for the achievements.
Exactly.
You just brought them so much happiness.
That's true.
Exactly. All right, Torby Flenderson wants our personal loves and hatreds. What heroes are you either loving or not touching with a 10-foot pole in the new meta? Is there any hero who can really take advantage of blood gems and boars in a way you did not foresee? We kind of talked about that a little bit already.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I don't think we talked about the heroes we're avoiding like crazy, except for maybe Ragnaros.
I think everyone's avoiding Cthulhu because he's so boring. I think everyone realized how boring pressing a button was.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Winning is very interesting.
He's like I'm playing on the John pooping. I'm gonna pick Cthulhu. Press button.
Are we changing his name to Kapoo?
Kapoo.
That's bad.
You don't have to pay attention. You just press a button and go move on. I don't know. Like, so he's one that I don't pick him anymore, even though I care about my MMR. I don't care that much to like be bored.
You would have so much time to talk to chat room.
This is in the way that I think people that defend in the way that I think people who defend token damage is linked to a desire for more ways to come back in Battlegrounds. For me, defending Cthulhu is 100% linked to he's really good at mechs. And I just want to play mechs again and it not be a horrible mistake. So, yeah.
Who else am I not touching? I haven't been touching Ragnaros as much. I kind of talked about that. Queen Wag Toggle. I've just like it's kind of like Cthulhu to me. Like,
outside of the usual suspects, like why is Illidan and Bran still in the game?
Oh
yeah.
God. I picked Illidan the other day because I think he was next to like Syndragosa and other Shudderwalk. Like, what is Shudderwalk doing? Imagine Maleficent. Oh gosh, imagine playing Max. Oh.
Poor Garrett and his feelings.
No, you're right. Keep talking about how bad they are. Maybe they'll do something about it.
Or in Lord Jaraxxus, I wouldn't pick him.
Jaraxxus is right there with like Maleficent. Like I'm weirdly happy to be stuck on those heroes because like, yeah, I'm forced to force something that I enjoy playing, even though it's not good. But yeah,
that no one else is looking for right now, so you can get like the perfect build in anything that's not Quilboars.
You are not wrong.
Then you die because you're not Quilboar.
But you die.
Yeah. The demons
God,
do not get big enough.
Murlocs and still died today. I'm so mad.
Well, Unstable Ghoul is still in the game if you're George Murlockin.
Yeah.
So I went like 4 rounds in the finals with George. And that's how many rounds it took my opponent to find an Unstable Ghoul. And I lost the first turn. My opponent found an Unstable Ghoul. So it took second in that game.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, God, Deathwing has fallen so far. Dance and Daryl feels like
I
an
forgot
echo
Deathwing was
of
still in the game.
Yeah. Dance and Daryl feels like, I don't know, it's like the seltzer flavor of heroes. It's like, I remember a time when this meant something to me, but now it just tastes empty.
But Shudderwalk. When have you played Shudderwalk?
I'm not sure I've ever played Shudderwalk on purpose, including when Shudderwalk was first added to Battlegrounds.
Yeah, oh God.
You remember when Edwin was good? Edwin's bottom 6.
Wow.
I like Edwin.
I do too, but he's bad. He's real bad.
He's been kind of all over the map, I feel like.
I don't trust these top 1% people. I don't know who's playing up here.
Great Bow has just taken a dive too. I think again because of the token lists or the generating. Well, like there's no spawns in Quilboar.
The other, exactly what I was gonna say is it's since 3 types are out each time, it's pretty likely that either mechs or beasts are out because 3 are out. And then Quilboar has nothing to synergize with it for the most part. So, yeah, it's definitely gone down.
It's rough. It's rough. But then it's interesting. Talking about the health thing, like how much would we have to buff up some of these heroes health wise to make it worth it?
To counteract that.
Some of them I look at it, I'm like, I'm not sure it would help that much. Greybow isn't going to scale. Yeah, Edwin isn't going to scale. Like, longer in the game is not going to help the deficit of some of these hero powers.
Yeah, they just get a couple more, like, rolls at high levels that maybe they could finish out a comp or something. But yeah, hero power-wise, it doesn't really change anything.
Daryl's definitely low enough, right, that we can just think about straight up buffing his buff.
I was going to say that maybe he should be getting more for his hats.
Daryl was good last meta, so he just does a lot better. He's just a lot better in a slower meta because he was good right before Quilboar. People just didn't pick him because I don't know why. But
well, you could Cthulhu.
A bunch of other heroes. I was going to say I think you can make Edwin's hero power 0. I think you could. Because they made Lich King 0. Lich King used to be 1. Lich King used to be 1 farthest right minion. No target.
Yeah, no targeting. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I think you could change Edwin to 0, though I'm not a playtester, but I think you could.
I'm for it. Let's do it.
Any devs in the chat who want to listen to me, I do accept money in my PayPal for the work I just did there.
Send your Blizzard shield checks to...
Yep.
GoFundMyOpinions.com. All right. Josh, you want to bring us home with the final question?
sure. We had one last question here from Kilmarnock who says, would you consider changing your handle to Pogo Mama if it would bring back our bouncy boy to BG's?
Go towards Garrett? Is that your question?
Yeah, that's obviously. I mean, he's the one who loves the mechs. So, Garrett, you want to be Pogo Mama?
There's a big okay, first off, huge difference between loving mechs and loving pogos. All right?
I don't see the difference.
No. And I loved pogos. You say loving like pogos is a bad thing.
HR needs you to find the difference between these two pictures. I do miss pogos a little bit.
Pogos are fun. That was
Yeah.
like my thing back before I was any good at the game, but was streaming it. I would force Pogos a lot. And then I remember I was co-oping with Sunglitter. She was much better at Battlegrounds than me. And she was just laughing at me. Like, why are you picking this one?
Yeah, they ruined pogos with Jandice.
That's the thing. Pogos were cool.
made Pogos great with Jandice.
Pogos are the
They
hipster.
wanted to delete them from the game, and that made me so sad because they had this stupid hero.
Pogos are the hipster unit of Battlegrounds because they were cool before they became actually good.
That's true.
And then they became very worth something. You're like,
And Pogos sold out, man. Suddenly they were on top 40 radio, and they're. I don't know. I have no idea who's a popular artist right now. I cannot make a timely reference.
oh no, how embarrassing.
Yeah.
I
no
totally
idea.
could. I'm not going to ruin it for you though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to show off. So don't want to make you feel bad about yourself. So we're just not going to
We've
say.
talked music before, Slysssa. You are stuck in the exact same early 2000s time
What?
capsule that I am.
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Make
I'm
better.
stuck nowhere. I can't even listen to music anymore. I'm not allowed to. There's a reason I'm stuck.
Shots fired, Twitch. Shots fired.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for your questions. Keep them coming. TACpodcast@gmail.com, and may Pogos right again. I think it's going to bring us to the end of this episode of The Angry Chicken. And want to thank those of you supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC again. If you like what we're doing here, listen, I know we've begged for Blizzard money about 6 times today. Do not let that fool you. We're only paid by our patrons. We get no money from Blizzard. In fact, I'm pretty sure they would pay us to stop at this point. So head on over to patreon.com/TAC if you like what we're doing and you want to support our show, because we are totally independent. Takes a lot of time to put this together, so we appreciate your support. And also a huge thanks to our producers, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, and Jeffrey D. Thank you very much. If you want to catch the back catalog of episodes, maybe you missed an episode, in which I will remind you, no, you did not miss an episode last week. We did. It was just a week from hell. Couldn't make it happen. We missed you like crazy. Happy to be back now. But if you want to catch an old episode of The Angry Chicken, head on over to theangrychicken.com. Links to everything can be found there. Typically, we're live Mondays now at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over twitch.tv/AMoveTV. We did a little earlier today to accommodate Slyssa's schedule so she can, play in a Chinese tournament she has to get up far too early for.
I gotta go to bed.
Yes, you got a bedtime.
Sorry. I was like 8 p.m. Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be asleep by then.
So around the table before we go, Slysssa, as our guest, if folks are not already following your Twitch channel, your YouTube, maybe you on Twitter, where can people find your work?
Well, you can find me by Googling Slysssa, SLYSSSA. I am on Twitch there. I am on Twitter there. I am on Instagram there. And YouTube is Slysssa HS because I don't know. I know. Ruined it.
Brand
But
synergy out the window.
I know. HS high school. What? But when I first started playing Hearthstone, I thought that's what people's tags said. It's like, oh, they're defining their age. Cool. It took me a while to realize it stood for Hearthstone.
You're like, why do they still listen to the same old music that I listen to?
There's a dog on me. Oh, hi. That's Nova. They're on my Instagram if you like dogs. I have 3 dogs, and I post pictures of them. And yeah, that's the best place to find me. I stream almost every day on Twitch and YouTube twice a day most days. So
Katie has been pushing me to stream just because she saw your stream the other day and noticed you had a dog cam. She's like, you need to stream regularly so that you can have a dog cam. I was like,
my husband loves it because he gets to see the dogs all day, even though he works upstairs, but like they hang out with me. So you get to still see them without dealing with them. Because
You
I have
know.
to deal with them.
That does, I love my dogs, but I can understand needing a break every once in a while.
What?
I can understand it. I can understand just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh, what?
One of my 3 chihuahuas is very
An
extra.
angel.
Very extra.
Angel.
An extra chihuahua? No.
What? I wonder
2
where
of them
they
are
learned it
chill as
from.
could be. 2, we're just gonna toss it over to Jocelyn. Where can people find you when you're not on tech?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joce Plays. That's JOCE Plays. And check out The Gamers In this week. It's my general gaming podcast, and we're going to be talking all about Resident Evil Village. Spoopy games.
I couldn't finish the last one. It scared me too much.
This one isn't as bad. This one's not as bad. There's
Okay.
like some definite spots where they set you up for a jump scare, and there's definitely like some screw with your mind parts, but like it's not as bad, I don't think.
I don't
as
do well
7.
with jump scares, even if I know they're coming. It's still, I hate them. I hate jump scares. They're the worst.
It's like they make you like focus on a window and you're like, oh, I think something's coming. And then like a zombie pops up in your face kind of deal. But it's like, you know, it's coming.
Bunch of jerks. Bunch of jerks. Well, you can find me screaming at jump scares on Twitter at Garrett Art. And amove.tv for this podcast and every single other one that I produce. Yes, I still do a Heroes of the Storm podcast. It's called Into the Nexus. I do it with my good buddy Kyle Ferguson, and that uploads every Thursday. So go check that out, as well as everything else over on amove.tv. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Hat will be back next week. Make sure you go give him a follow at Ridiculous Hat. But until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
That was hilarious. I laughed a lot. That was a good show. Thanks for coming back, Slysssa.
Agreed.
Poor.
I have a bajillion timestamps. I wrote them all down.
Bless you. I will definitely need your recording. Everyone got crackly at the end. Now I'm worried it's my interface.